here today with failed musical artist, struggling English teacher, and coffee addict, Mr. Brian Freeman. Why don't you start us off by telling us a little bit about yourself, Mr. Freeman?
All right, well, 39 years old, male, been involved with music pretty much most of my life. Kind of wanted to be a teacher as long as I've known what a teacher is, so I've always knew I wanted to be in the classroom and all that, but I originally wanted to be a music teacher. I failed out of music school. So I decided, well, if I can't do music, what is the closest thing? And poetry is kind of music, if you don't think about it too much. So I'm like, let me do words instead of notes. And they haven't fired me yet. So I guess that's a good sign. And yeah, been doing that for 18 years. Been playing music for probably 25-ish years. And I think that basically covers the basics. Redundancy aside.
We're not celebrities. People don't know who we are.
Everyone knows who we are. I know who you are, right?
Do you prefer cookies or tiramisu?
Tiramisu is hands down my favorite dessert ever. Plus it's always soft. I don't have teeth. As you can see, I got a lot of things going for me, you know, after failing out of music school and having the genetic lottery winning. So I'm going tiramisu all the way. It's a delightful dessert and it's easy on the gums.
In your younger years, how did you see your possible future compared to how it turned out?
Well, it basically more or less turned out the way I wanted to. Like I said, I wanted to be a teacher as long as I knew what a teacher was, and I have evidence of that because, you know, in kindergarten they give you, like, when I grow up, it says teacher, and for some reason my parents have kept it for the 30 plus years. So I have solid proof that I've always wanted to be a teacher. Went to school for it, did 15 years at Springfield. This is my third year here, and you know, as I said, I always wanted to be a music teacher. It didn't exactly work out, so I'm glad I can still do music on the side, and you know, I support Mr. Freeman and a lot of what he and his band do. So I'm still pretty happy, but I'd say more or less my life has turned out exactly as I planned it, and that's kind of a lucky thing. Not a lot of people can say that.
Yeah. Throwing me a lot of curveballs, man.
That's what I do.
Ooh, I should just throw this out.
You know, can my hologram come in? Like the real Freeman's asleep in bed.
We don't have enough budget for that.
Miss Young, get more. Come on. We have grants. We have grants.
All right. Were there any hurdles that discouraged you from music and video?
Well, the whole failing in my life's purpose, that was kind of a big hurdle. And I didn't overcome it, to be honest. I just ended up pivoting. But in like the side stuff, it's really hard to break into music in general. When I started, basically the only options you had were like Microsoft Sound Recorder, or you knew someone with like a studio or a studio, if you will. Nowadays, like pretty much anyone can roll tape and create something that's professional quality. So the barrier to entry was a lot lower originally, and that's probably when I had my most success, like putting out albums, doing like shows and open mics in like the Western State area. But as time goes on, it's really difficult to stand out because, like I said, everyone and their mother can release an album. SoundCloud is now a thing, YouTube and YouTube Music is now a thing. So I'm kind of lucky I started when I did, because I might have actually gotten pretty discouraged if I started out, you know, in the industry now and saw what I'm up against, basically. My ignorance is the reason for my success.
Yeah, I've always had just random daydreams about, like, what if I just took what I knew now and just went back in time and just showed some like English peasant what a cell phone was and all I'll be considered a famous inventor.
Famous inventor or like a demonic witch or something like that. I always wanted to give a caveman a Sour Patch Kid. That's, by the time I die, I'm going on record, by the time I die, I will go back in time and feed a caveman a Sour Patch Kid. Which color?
You're gonna call me basic bitch, but I was like blue.
Blue is good. Blue is acceptable. As long as you didn't say yellow. Yellow is like serial killers. You're not a serial killer, right? Can we cut the tape?
What changes have you noticed in these industries over the last 5 years?
Outstanding question. So, the biggest thing that I see is what I will call the proliferation of like audio tools. So back in the day, you had like Fruity Loop Studio or like Cubase. Those were the only what they call DAWs, digital audio workstations, and they were not user friendly. We'll say that. We're talking like late '90s, early 2000s. You know, yeah. You've seen pictures of like even what the internet looked like. We've come a long way. So the fact that there's a lot more access there is definitely a huge change. I also see like a lot more open mics and like different spots for people to go in and like workshops. So for example, Mr. Freeman and I would go to Little Beer's Co-op during open mic night. Mr. Freeman's an ambient artist, so he'll do like live ambient stuff, and then I always go after him and I play completely different stuff, like, you know, stupid, Weird Al, funny kind of things there. So there are a lot more opportunities to sort of get your stuff out there. But like I said earlier, just getting shows and promoting yourself. You know, back in the day, you put out an album and that was it. Now you need to put out an album, you need to sell yourself, you need to market yourself. You need to have a social media presence, because that's how you interact with fans. We didn't have any of that stuff when I was breaking it, which makes me feel impossibly old. I cannot possibly convey just how old I feel having said that sentence right now.
All you had to do back then was sell your soul and you were famous.
Exactly, and that is why I'm a public educator. I lost my soul long ago. Yeah. I steal other people's souls to bolster my own purposes.
In your experience, how would you describe the culture behind the music and video industry?
I would like to say, for the most part, especially in like the indie scene, it's fairly supportive. There's been a lot of bands who have come through, like they do shows, but they also do open mics for like their more experimental stuff, or if they have a new song, they'll demo it. So, like I was introduced to a band, one was Johnny, he came to an open mic night, and I'm like, this guy really is awesome. This is like guitar duo kind of thing. So you have more opportunities of sort of getting yourselves out there. In terms of video and like TV editing, stuff like that, so ridiculously hard to break into. Like, everyone who isn't sure what they want to do in terms of mass communication, they always want to like work in TV and movies and stuff, and why wouldn't you? It's an awesome industry, but everyone and their mother also has that same thing. So you really got to stand out by either, you know, being different in your portfolio, like filming interviews such as these, or having like a really high caliber, like professional skill to editing and stuff like that. So a lot of those things that sometimes make it easier can also be a barrier, because there's more people who are able to be competition, basically.
I was going to say, I'm not sure how this interview would look on my resume.
I think it would look fantastic, especially if you just do an extreme close-up of the right side of my face and just keep that in frame the entire time.
Very chiseled.
Yes, exactly. My mewing streak is unparalleled, which you can tell because I wear the beard. Not because I'm fat, but I'm also fat.
What skills and abilities are the most demanding to be competitive in the music and video industry?
Well, music, I kind of alluded to this earlier, but honestly, the biggest ability that I think would impact someone's success is their ability to market themselves. which has nothing to do with music at all, but that's kind of what we have. Like, you know, any goofball with a microphone can record whatever they want and say, this is the greatest music ever! But if you don't have people to agree with you, you know, you're not going to move units, you're not going to have people at shows. So that's probably the biggest skill. And then in terms of TV, because it's really a, like, who do you know kind of industry, networking is definitely a really key skill. And that's honestly a key skill no matter what you do.
I don't like talking to people.
Well, this would be a really great industry for you to break into, especially the editing room, because you don't talk to anyone. You're literally locked in a room with the lights off, and you only let out when your sequence or segment is edited. It's wonderful.
Sometimes I forget how to breathe.
Most times I forget my name. I've been known to wake up and scream, what year is this? I live alone. I've had the cops call me at least 3 times for a wellness check. It's really difficult to explain that I'm just a lonely man with a receding hairline, desperate for human interaction. And then I give the cops a little hug because they are now my friends. It's a true story I made up.
That on the Wikipedia.
It's already on the Wikipedia. So I have a legion of fans they're adding right now. In fact, my profile pic for Wikipedia is the right side of my face, because again, magical properties.
You got that guy working for you who made like thousands of pages on Wikipedia just about boobs.
That was me.
That was you?
It was.
You were the boob guy?
Yeah, it was awkward, but when you say boobs, we're actually referring to the bird, ironically enough. So it's, yeah, that got kind of twisted in the telephone line of sorts. I have a big passion for ornithology. Another true story I made up.
Where did I find you again?
Bargain bin in Walmart, if I'm not mistaken. I was buy one, get one free, and he said even that was too expensive, and the manager's like, you know what, just go. Just take it. Get out of my store.
You're taking a lot of space up in there.
Again, given my mass, that makes a lot of sense. It's very important for me to take up space. My ego demands it.
What does your day-to-day look like?
Wake up, cry, moderately, not heavily, you know, it's just a warm-up cry. Usually some sort of 4-letter word when the alarm goes off. I do have my favorites, none I can professionally repeat over here. Then I show up to work. Typically I have already planned what I did 2 weeks in advance, and I will come in and I'll have an idea that I'm like, you know, my old idea sucks, so let me spend 5 minutes taking this new idea and slapping it together, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I get through the day. I don't know if you know him, his name's Trevor McRae. I got to deal with him at least like once a day during the week. And then every other week, you know, it's like 20 Trevors. Basically I go to sleep and I dream of just Trevor's head. And I'm not sure if it's a nightmare or a blessing or some macabre combination of both, but it's a thing. So yeah, I'm here at work anyway. I get through it. I'm an assistant girls soccer coach, so I basically get here at like 7 and then get home sometimes 9:30 at night. And with my warm-up cry in the morning, I always like to, you know, round things out. So I actually go to bed with what I call a sob. So a cry is like a weep, you know, it's kind of low-key there. For a sob, there's some diaphragmatic activation going on there. And I find that really gets me into a sleeping spot because I can just let out the fact that my existence is spiraling downhill and secretly no one knows.
Alright, so definitely wasn't stalking you. I read that in a TV production, you were a volunteer at a public access. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
No.
Your volunteer work?
started working in public access in my sophomore year of high school. There's the Shrewsbury Public Access Channel, as well as Educational Television Services TV, ETS. So I was anchoring for ETS, and I believe my voice is still a placeholder audio for the segment, because there's a recording of me going, ETS News 34 Health Spot! Kind of like a crappy Hulk Hogan type thing. And I'm reasonably certain they still use that as a placeholder. So if nothing else, I have a legacy of that, which, you know, I can die happy knowing that that's my legacy. That's all I need. So yeah, I started doing that. During college, there's a quiz show as Schools Match Wits that was actually filmed on location at Westfield State, so I was able to work on their studio on that. You know, I have some experience doing TDing, technical directing, which is basically the guy with the console during a live show and be like, all right, camera 1, stand by, go. Q2, Q3, camera 3, get ready, go. And it was all like the behind the scenes, kind of like stage manager at a play when he's a theater connection there. I also did a little bit of public affairs for Westover with the squadron that I was in, the United States Air Force Auxiliary Squadron. So if you YouTube Westover Brian Freeman, there's going to be a few segments that actually pop up. Those were pretty much did everything myself because I was kind of the only game in town. So we had like a green screen that I was able to like mat over. We had a co-anchor. Honestly, it was a lot of fun and didn't really feel like work at all, which is kind of something that music and TV can really give you. You know, if you break in and you enjoy it, not every day is awesome, but most every day is.
It's really something that I want to achieve.
I think you can, especially given the personality and the quirks you got there. I said previously you need something to make you stand out. You're wearing a Peppa Pig Death Grip shirt. I mean, come on. That's S tier.
That's all I have. I don't wear.
That's really all you need. I have 6 different outfits that I just cycle through. But see, today's special. Usually I wear the green with my beige pants. But today I'm being jaunty. I'm wearing green and black because I'm feeling very earthy today. Whereas being in all black, you're embracing the darkness. And I feel that is important because life's all about balance. And you're going to have to edit out this gigantic belch that I have cooking right now. Excuse me, that was weak. You know what? Don't edit that out. I deserve to be shamed for that. It felt like it was bigger. And I already did my cry, so my diaphragm was ready, and I failed. I have failed.
Forget everything he said. If you want to get into the TV and video industry, you have to start at the bottom of the ladder, start kissing people's feet, do things that humiliate you. It'll never be the same. The money is worth it.
But
money is worth it.
You previously said forget everything I said, so you're recalling memories that they no longer have. It's like that commercial, you're like, forget everything you know about bed sheets. So I did, and it was awesome. And they're like, you know, we're selling this new thing of bed sheets. I'm like, what the heck are bed sheets? I've forgotten. I forgot, Trevor. Bed sheets. It's always the bed sheets, man. Sorry, that got out of hand. I'm okay. Okay. I'm good.
What has been your career progression?
All right, so basically as a teacher, you're required to do what they call pre-practicum and practicum hours, which is observing teachers at work. So you got to do middle school, high school, and elementary school. I observed in elementary school, and I'm like, hell no, I'm not doing this. And then I went to middle school, and I said the same thing. So I always thought it would be high school, but that just sort of cemented it. Then I student taught at Gateway Regional High School in their English department, so I taught for half a year. Then, right out of college, I was lucky enough to get a job at Putnam Vocational Technical Academy in Springfield, which is a vocational school that I was working there for 15 years. Had to take a couple of years off due to some life changes, moved back with my parents, which is as exciting as it sounds, read not, and did some education advocacy and also went back to retail, which is actually when I started my waking up crying routine. Anyone who has worked in retail is well versed in, you know, what they call the method, capital M, which is crying in like the walk-in freezer or at really any spot you can cry. So that's where I perfected it. After about 2 years of crying in walk-in freezers and back rooms, I was picked up here. And then I moved over to beautiful Palmer, Massachusetts, and this is year 3 of me working here. So I've been doing this for entirely too long, and thanks to some rituals I've learned from Nicolas Cage and Danny DeVito, ironically enough, they both work together for this, I'm able to maintain my youth at this level indefinitely. So if you're familiar with Wolverine and, you know, the beginning of his movie where he's fighting in like all these wars, that's actually based on my story. I will probably retire shortly once the lawsuit goes through against Marvel Studios and Hugh Jackman himself. So honestly, if you want me to sign that signature will probably be worth trillions like tomorrow.
Screw this. I don't need this.
No,
Not anymore.
you've got a piece of paper. You know, let me do that right now. Oh, see, no lead. There's no lead in this pencil.
Piece of paper is what formed this country.
That, I don't know if you've ever seen my signature. It is the worst signature ever. It kind of looks like a heart that was
Reveal my
bisected.
notes.
There we go. And zoom in on that in post so they can get that beautiful visual. I still can't get over my signature. It looks that bad.
Oh, you mentioned you had a drone photography business.
I did have a drone photography business. So but when I lived with my parents in the Cape, I had a Cape Drone Man Productions, which is a stupid name, but I didn't know what else to call it. And basically, I had a drone. I would go up. I'd take like videos of like golf courses, wedding stuff, like, you know, wedding photography. A couple of roof inspections, like, believe it or not. They're like, can you fly my drone and like make sure my shingles are good? And I'm like, what does that even mean? Number one, but number two, oh, you're going to pay? Yeah, sure, I'll do that. And then obviously like editing, photoshopping, if it's video, putting that together. But not a lot of people know that, but you actually need an FAA license to pilot a drone. So I had to go through ground school and I had to get my Part 13 certification in order to do that. And it was way more effort than the return on investment called for. So the moral of the story is don't work hard or follow your dreams.
What's the weirdest project you've worked on, music or video?
The weirdest project I ever worked on has not ever seen the light of day, and this is a good thing.
Until now.
No, not even then. So this was the late 90s, and my best friend at the time, we were nerds, shocking I know, and we made what we call a Elite Jedi movie. All right, so it's a hacker, conlang is a term, constructed language.
Mainframe.
Exactly. So, like, instead of writing the letter I, you would put a 1. Instead of a G, it's a 9. And this was like the utmost possible coolness factor is using leap speak. So what we did is we made a Elite Jedi movie, which is essentially if you took Star Wars, had it acted by 2 freshmen in high school who have no skills in anything and no redeeming qualities, like at all, and put it to like Gen Alpha brain rot. That's kind of like what leap speak was, 20-ish years in the past. And I think the only part that resembled Star Wars is we had this function in my camera that when you ran, it gave like copies, so we used that for like force speed. And I think there was a lightsaber, and literally nothing else had anything to do with anything. And I worked on that project for like weeks, and it did not look like it. It was the biggest piece of garbage I've ever seen. I've since improved, barely.
You should play it at your funeral.
I'm not even sure it exists anymore, because this is on a high 8 tape, which is top of the line back in the 90s and early 2000s. And you're probably thinking,
all right, we're rolling. I know that's going to be a very rough transition. I'll tell you that.
that's what makes it fun. Just jump cut. Give them no segue whatsoever. They don't deserve it, okay? Maybe if you gave us some money when we asked for it, we could fund transitions.
That's all the time we have today, folks. Tune in next time for Pepe Sylvia's Hot Takes.
I actually have plenty of time, so you can call me if you want. Text.
I don't think I will.
Not you, no. No, I'm talking about the audience, especially you. No, not you, yeah, that, yeah.
I think we're golden.
I think we nailed it.
Boom!
You know what? Don't even bother setting it to Miss Young, it's an automatic A+. I'm calling it now.